Hi, my name is Valerie Clemmey. I'm the Communications Coordinator with SELCO, and today I'm joined by Malaver, Director of Broadband Technologies, as well as Eddie Lempitski, Headend Technician. So today is actually our 40th anniversary of when cable came to Shrewsbury. So back in 1983 was our first year, and today we are celebrating our 40th year, and some impressive things have gone down in this area, which is our Headend. Joel, can you tell us what a headend is?
Yes, the headend is the location where all signals get propagated to the town or the subscribers, the cable subscriber. All fibers, cables that are delivering your video signals and internet signals to the subscribers. Everything is coming out of the headend and it gets distributed throughout the town. So today we're going to be showing you what the headend looks like and all these different equipments that we use in order to bring video services and internet and phone to subscribers.
Yeah, so this is a very impressive place because Shrewsbury was actually the first in the Northeast to operate a state-of-the-art cable system. These professionals here are going to show us exactly what happens here, so let's go check it out.
Okay, so this is the video side of the headend. This is where all our video equipment is located. And we're going to have Eddie talking a little bit of what happens here.
Let's go over to the front. We're going to start by explaining the video service. Video was the very first service that cable companies offered. These are all satellite receivers. Most of the video channels you see come by satellite, and these are receivers that pick up the satellite signal. Each one of these receivers tunes into a channel and gets put onto a transport stream. The next part of the processing is several of these transport streams are combined by devices that we call muxes. And it basically takes the individual transport streams and combines them into a larger transport stream. The larger transport stream gets modulated onto an RF carrier using these QAM modulators, GQAMs they're called. Then they get amplified and get transmitted out to your home.
So yes, every single receiver is tuning to a specific channel. So for example, if you guys can see, this is the receiver for CNBC, MSNBC, the Golf Channel, CNBC, Lifetime, CNN, Headline News, etc., etc. So a lot of these receivers are dedicated to one or two specific channels. So like Eddie explained, they all get combined and they get sent to our subscribers using the modulators. And that's when the subscriber can use either a cable box or now we're going with through SELCO stream, we're sending them over the internet, and that's where customers now can get it through their see the content on their TVs. So now we're going to go to the internet side of things.
So Joel, this is amazing because I don't think a lot of people realize that the channels come through this box, right? So each box is one channel.
Yes.
So how did this look before we switched over to HD? You know, around 2011, right? So we were required to switch everything over to HD. So a lot of people that have been here for a long time might remember the DTA project.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, and we used to have a lot less channel because with SDs we only had half of what the channels that we have today. Today we have the channels both on SD and HD transmission. Some of them are now even coming on 4K. So throughout the year, we have added more and more channels. And with the DTA project, it was because we went from just having analog channels to now digital channels. With digital channels, that's when you now have SDs, HD. So for example, like you were saying, one of these receivers is the Golf Channel, and the subscribers are using the set-top boxes to tune to that channel.
So once we switch over to SELCO Stream and everything's internet-based, we won't have a need for any of these boxes.
Yes, a lot of
right?
that will go. A lot of these will go away because now the feeds are coming straight from the provider. Like the Golf Channel will send us a signal directly Aside from the local channels like Nescent, for example, that's a local channel. It's a Massachusetts channel, or the over-the-air channels like PBS Rhode Island, PBS New Hampshire. Those are local channels. We call them local channels. So we have to get them locally and send them to our subscriber over the internet.
Speaking of Nescent, we were actually one of the first cable providers to offer Nescent in 1984, which we still carry today. And I think it's interesting to note that we were either the first or one of the first cable companies in the Northeast to even offer digital cable and HD. So
that's correct. We were also the first one to offer a VOD system, which is video on demand. So yes, we have always tried to be pioneers implementing these latest and greatest technologies in communication. So yeah, we take a lot of pride in doing that kind of work.
I think one of the things that sets us apart from, you know, your investor-owned cable companies like Charter is that we have that local control and that local support. I mean, Joel, you're even a Shrewsbury resident yourself,
We
right?
are.
You're both Shrewsbury residents. So, right. So you want to put that dedication into the system because it's your home, right? So you want to make sure that you have the best, the greatest, the latest. And I think we've proven that by being here for 40 years.
I'd also like to add that, you know, our help desk is right here in the same building. When customers call in with problems, they're answered right here in town.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, such local support is something that you can't beat, right? When you call, you get connected to an actual person instead of being on hold forever. But our systems don't go down as often as, you know, something like Charter because we're
Take a lot of pride in what we do here.
that's correct. Yeah, do some good work here.
We
All
can
right, so-
we can also respond right away because we don't have other towns that we have to get to before we can get to our issues.
Right.
We are dedicated for this town exclusively.
Exactly. Yeah, that's wonderful. All right, let's move on. Let's see what else we have
move
here.
on. So we're now going to go into the internet side for the cable system. We started providing internet services in the 1990s, but this is where a lot of that happened. As you can see, there's a lot of wiring. There's a lot of work happening as we are migrating to a fiber to the home deployment. So similar to like the modulators that my coworker Eddie was presenting, we have modulators to convert that internet technology into modulation. So it's basically your cable modems are like just like a cable box. They're tuned into to channels, and through those channels is where they can get the internet service. Again, cable modem does it all for our subscribers, and we don't have to be physically changing anything. It just works for us. So in this case, this is we call this the CMTS, cable modem terminating system. Basically, each one of these fibers are feeding a specific places in town, a specific region. So, for example, we have different MDUs. We have different apartment complexes. So one of these fibers may be dedicated to just feed one of those buildings. And based on the number of subscribers that we have subdivided the town in about 78 regions. So that's the number of fibers that you can currently see in this system. This system is what's feeding, again, cable modems. We're using a technology called DOCSIS 3, which allow us to have a pipe of about 1 gig of service. So again, it's back in the day in the 1990s was the cutting edge, latest and greatest in technology. However, we're now pushing a fiber dedicated to closer to the home. So let me step back a little bit. One of these fibers is feeding about 200 homes, services for 200 homes. In the fiber to the home world, we are feeding only 30 homes or even less sometimes. So yes, the capacity that we can provide to our subscribers is much higher than when we can over fiber to the home, the fiber to the home technology than what we can provide over cable. But the system is still current. We keep it up to date. We are always doing maintenance. We're always trying to make sure that our subscribers have enough capacity so that during peak time, like for example during COVID, there was a lot of teleworking, telecommuting, people working from home. we took a lot of pride in making sure that there was enough capacity for our subscribers to work from home, for example.
So when we started in 1983, we had the cables run, like you would see when you're driving down the street, right? You see them run through the telephone lines. So I think a lot of cable companies brought internet in the 90s. And that's because you could actually use that existing infrastructure of the cables, right? And they plug right into the cable modem, and then you tied off of that, and that's how we brought internet to the home.
That's correct.
Which is why you see a lot of cable companies also offering internet.
Yes, and like I said, the latest and greatest is now replacing that cable, that coaxial cable that was built with with fiber technology. Fiber is now dedicated to the home. It's being brought to the home, and that's what we started working in the early 2020. We're hoping to have the entire town built out by 2025. So we have a good fourth of the town already built. Customers over fiber can get 1 gig services, which is kind of the entire capacity that the cable, internet over cable has. Through our cable modem, our subscribers can only get about 300, 400, 500 megs. So you're definitely doubling what it can be offered to the subscribers.
Now, when you see the cable on the streets, how does that cable actually get to the head end so that we're able to transfer that signal?
So we have 300 miles of cable plant that was built, and that's coaxial. On the fiber side, because we're now bringing fiber dedicated to the homes, now you're talking that almost that every home has to have their dedicated fiber. So you're talking now about thousands of miles of fibers that we have to build. That's why it's taking us longer, because it's a major effort.
And there's some underground work to that, right?
There's a lot of underground, and there's a lot of old conduits that have been damaged throughout the year. Cable that was directly buried, so that cable now we gotta dig it and put a proper conduit so that in the future we have to repair it, we can easily pull it out and make our repairs.
Now, is there a spot in this head end where that underground cable actually comes up into the building?
Yes, and I believe Ed is going to show us. He works on a lot of the fiber side. When I started in SELCO in 2006, this is where I mainly worked on. But Eddie, who is one of our latest addition to the team, he is our fiber expert. So I'm going to have him showing all the whole work that he's doing on the fiber side of the things.
Before I show you where the cables enter and leave the building, I just want to take you through the rest of the signal processing. We spoke about video earlier. Joel spoke about the internet. Those signals are combined through our combining here. These are all combining units. We also combine other signals like telemetry in there that control the cable boxes, control our test equipment. They all get put on the signal. From that point, that signal, these are all lasers here. And each laser sends a fiber optic laser signal to your neighborhood. The signals that come back from your home, like either uploads or telephone calls, they come back on our return. And we have return receivers right here.
You can see these are the original receivers, that you can see that the colors are a little bit faded, the labels are faded. These are the original ones that we installed in 1995, I believe.
See, we always had a fiber backbone, but with our new product, we're going to bring the fiber much closer to your house.
Yeah, so what does that mean? I know I've heard that a lot just working in SELCO, that fiber is the backbone of everything that we do. Can you explain that a little bit more?
Yes, well, I mean, we have to connect to the cloud. Our customers need to be able to go on web pages and what have you. So we have a backbone. We have several backbones, but mainly we have one to Boston, where there's a huge switch. And of course we have backup circuits in case we were to lose that one. Somebody can hit a pole and sever a cable. That takes hours and hours, sometimes days to restore. So we have alternate paths. And we also consider a backbone, like with this architecture, the The old architecture is called HFC, which means hybrid of fiber and coax.
Okay, so both of those systems.
It's a hybrid,
Okay.
yes, because basically one of these lasers will go out to your neighborhood where it gets converted back to RF technology, and RF means radio frequency.
Okay.
With the new product, there will be no radio frequency at all.
So a very
It'll-
quicker service.
Yes, there's much more bandwidth.
Yeah.
And it'll be much more reliable also because there in the field, there are no electronics that need alignment, that break, that need power. The fiber optic network has none of that. Makes it much more reliable, much more bandwidth.
And you're going to see that when we show you the fiber to the home side, all these modulators, all these lasers, they all go away. So like he said, it's all that, it goes, that connectivity goes almost straight to the home. So there's nothing in between, and that allows the service to even, that allows the technology to provide higher speed, more reliability, a much higher reliability. So that's why we're even working today. The technology that we have can offer up to 1 gig of service, but we're already working. That's one of the cool things that Eddie is working on. We're working on 10 gig technology. So our customers probably do not need it today, but as more smart homes are coming around, your smart refrigerators, your Ring cameras, your devices, 4K streaming, all that is going to consume more internet speeds, and that's where that 10 gig is probably going to be needed in the future.
Well, that's something we're good at, right? Always looking to the future and preparing.
Yes, we're looking into the future, and that's why we're trying to be ahead and, again, in the cutting edge of technology.
Why don't we show them the new fiber plant that we're building in here?
Sure.
This is our existing fiber optic OLT. OLT stands for optical line termination. This unit here provides 1 gig service to our present fiber customers.
This is the technology that companies like Verizon, through their product Fios, offer. We can deliver about 1 gig of service to our subscribers or residency. So basically, one of these fibers, as you can see, these fibers are smaller. There's a lot more of them compared to what we just showed you in the on the cable side of the internet. These fibers are feeding about no more than 30 customers. So one of these fibers is shared among 30 customers, and that's why they can get higher capacity on their service.
Now we have some empty racks here.
These
as
empty
we build
racks.
out this
Come on in,
project,
Valerie,
right?
so I can close this so the people can see it.
Sure.
This is our latest thing. It's under construction. You see that it's not in service yet. We just built this week. This is an upgraded version of the other OLT you just saw. This one will be capable of 10 gig speeds.
Yeah, this is a very exciting project that I think a lot of people are looking forward to, and it's definitely going to bring our services.
And another cool thing that I may add that we have, it's so because of we have a small portion of the cloud, the internet cloud in our Headend. What that means is that these servers are Netflix servers. So when our subscribers are reaching out to Netflix, their content is being played out of these servers. So the ones in red are Netflix. You can see there's one called Disney Amazon. This is for all Disney and Amazon Prime content. This is our SELCO stream. It's called Minerva, but this is our SELCO stream. So our newest and greatest video system is all coming out of this service in the Headend. We also have Google. I believe they're on a different side, but we also have, so again, content that goes through YouTube, Google search pages, Google ads, everything is coming from our Headend locally. So what that having this service allow us our subscriber experience to be even better because they don't have to go to a server in New York or California. They're just going almost, we call it one hop away because they're just going from their home straight into the Headend, and that's why the first of all, the quality of the video is much better. They can go and watch 4K stream right away. Similar with YouTube, they can see the higher stream, the higher quality of stream being played right away. Amazon, shopping. When you do your shopping, all the catalogs are locally stored, so that content is coming quickly to our subscribers when they are surfing these different websites.
So that's what's known as over-the-top content, right?
This is the over-the-top content, yes.
Okay, and so what does that really mean, over-the-top?
Yeah, over-the-top is, as you see, a lot of the racks where we were showing you all these channels, the different receivers, the modulator, that all gets eliminated and everything becomes more of an IP connection. When I say an IP connection is you're surfing the web. So when you're going to Netflix, you're surfing the Netflix web or the Netflix cloud, which is all stored in these two servers. Similar to Amazon, Google, and our new product, SELCO Stream. Everything is web-based.
So having these for those specific programs that we know people seem to gravitate towards, does that free up like what they call bandwidth for other things that they might be using?
Well, it's actually because it demands more bandwidth, we have to get it closer to the subscriber. So instead of going to, like I mentioned, New York, California, you're talking about tens of gig of traffic to New York, tens of gig of traffic to California. About having that mini cloud or that portion of the cloud locally, you're talking that that traffic is a lot smaller, so our subscribers can get that better quality of service, so that better, more reliable.
Right. So instead of like driving a car to get your service, you're taking a plane.
There you go.
That's a good analogy,
it's
right?
something like that. Exactly.
Well, that's awesome.
It's actually more like it's being delivered to your door.
Oh, okay.
It's more like it's being delivered to your door because you don't even have to get out of the state or even your town to access the content.
Yeah, that's great. That's good technology.
So this is a lot of the cool toys that we have here that Eddie and I get to play with every day, and we're now gonna go to gonna show the satellite dishes, which is where we get a lot of our signals.
Yeah, I just have one more question. So this
actually, yes,
this equipment out here, yeah, and also
Eddie showed her the clear field.
So I see a lot of these labels say nodes. Can you explain what a node is?
Well, this equipment right here is actually for the town network. We supply services to the fire department, police stations, schools. We also have enterprise customers that need a backbone like we do, UMass, big companies like that. So these nodes are, they're located in the municipal buildings. So if we say like node 1, that's this building. This is node 1. Node 16 is a Calvin Coolidge school, for example. The cabinet behind you is a little bit more interesting because this is where the fiber optic cables that come from the street, they come into this building, and this is where they connect to the service right here.
So they actually come from underground.
Yes.
And connect to this.
And I'll show you that in our basement where the cables come in and out of the building, and they go. And everything has redundant paths also.
Okay. Now, I just want to touch on one thing. You mentioned that this goes to all of our town departments and our schools. I don't know if a lot of people realize that also having us in town is beneficial because we actually provide these services to the schools, the fire department, the police department at no cost to them. And we're installing the fiber for the police department at no cost to them. This is something where they save money, and in turn, their tax rates are lower because they're getting those services internally. So I think that's a big benefit from having your locally owned cable, internet, electric company.
It definitely makes Shrewsbury an attractive town.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so let's go to the next spot. Take us out there.
All right, well, on our way, we'll just take a peek behind the cabinet. These are the actual cables that are on the poles that run down your street to your neighborhoods, okay? If you look up at the pole line while you're driving, that's what you're gonna see. This is lashed to our strand out in the field. And they come out, this is what the cable looks like inside. If you remove the jacket, you can see all these, they call buffer tubes. And in each one of those, they're different colors so that we can identify them, okay? And in each one of these buffer tubes, there's 24 fibers. This is a 434 count fiber. We have 4 of these. We also have several 144 count fibers. We have 96 count fibers. We use a fiber size as necessary. They're going down through the floor into a crawl space. I'm not going to bring you into the crawl space really, but I'll show you where we leave the building. So this is that crawl space I showed you, the cables going down through the floor. Well, they come out here, and then basically at that point we have 2 routes. We have a north route and we have a south route. This is the south route, this is the north route, and basically if there's any damage to our cable, say on the north route, traffic can be diverted to the south route. That gives us redundancy. This is our tower. It's 150 feet tall. We have a direct line of sight to Boston to receive the Boston channels. Each broadcast channel has its own independent antenna. It's a lot more sophisticated than your old-fashioned home antenna. Each antenna is tuned to the broadcast frequency. This other technology, this is satellite technology. This receives signals, obviously, from satellites. Take HBO, for example. They have a satellite in outer space, and they broadcast their signal down to Earth. What this unit does is it takes a wide patch of that signal and concentrates it on that device right there. It's called an LNB, low noise block, and it's essentially an antenna. And that antenna is about as small as my pinky here. But all the energy that reflects off this dish and concentrates on that antenna is what allows us to receive the signals from satellite broadcasters.
And as you can see, we have about 7 different satellite dishes. We have hundreds of channels, so we have to point and aim our antennas to different satellites in the sky. And each of these antennas is getting a specific channel, like Eddie mentioned HBO as an example, Cinemax, CNN, Disney, ESPN. All these antennas are specifically pointing to a different location in the sky where a lot of these satellites are connected. One of these antennas can be actually pointing to like 3 or 4 different satellites. So that's why we have 7, and with 7 antennas we can pinpoint to these different channels. In 1983, actually the work started in 1982 when the foundation was started being laid. We started back there with just the antenna and one of the satellite dishes, which is one of the largest one. As years went by, technologies got better, so you can see that the satellite dishes they started getting smaller. The latest satellites were added in the 1990s, and again with the seven satellites that we have, we are picking about 300 different signals in the sky.
Now, is there a certain time of year where the sun actually interferes with these satellites and can cause some issues with reception? Or
That's a very good question, Valerie. Excellent. Yes, if the position of the satellite is in between, if the sun is here and the satellite is here, and say this dish is where my face is, well, the energy of the sun is so strong it overtakes the small amount of energy that a satellite can develop and transmit. So it gets overwhelmed and the picture will lose. And it happens in the spring, in the fall, and they're short duration outages, typically around 5 minutes or so.
Now we're going to go into the help desk so you guys can see the staff that is actually handling all the technical questions that our subscribers have. We're now going to go see our help desk. We are actually now staffed 24/7. So come on, follow us. So we have a staff always on site. This is some of the guys that are stationed today. Colby, Sean, Jerry back there. And this is where customers are calling. When you guys call 508-841-8572, these are the great gentlemen that are answering your questions. They're assisting every kind of technical questions you guys may have. So for example, they have every single piece of equipment that we have out in the field so that they can support it. When a customer needs help changing aspect ratios on cable TVs, or even sometimes the remote controls not working, these are the guys that are helping out configuring remote controls. So this is some of the equipment they use in order to put themselves into the customer's shoes and try to walk them through the process of troubleshooting either the phone system, internet, video, even connecting an iPad to the residential Wi-Fi. Thank you for joining us in this virtual tour of the SELCO Headend. We are very happy and excited to be celebrating 40 years of providing services to our Shrewsbury residents. We're hoping to continue providing the best services and the best technologies and the best features and services to our customers in the future. At least for the next 100 years, there will be a different generation, but I am sure they will take the same pride that we have taken in these last 40 years.
If you have any questions, you can call our main number at 508-841-8500. The help desk can also be reached at 508-841-8572. And our website is www.selco.shrewsburyma.gov. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.